A marriage is like going on to a tropical island. So if you're on a tropical island, it's beautiful. It could be beautiful, wonderful, calm winds. But every now and then you get a hurricane. And a hurricane is life and issues. And a hurricane will come and sweep through. But as long as your foundation is God, I believe that when the hurricane comes, you'll get back up. Oh, that's how I look at it.
Really, I found marriage to be. My name is Dionne Webster-Cox, and welcome to DTWD. That means Direct Talk with Dionne. And I'm here because I want to tell you something about myself. I'm a mother, I'm an attorney, I have Webster Law Office. I also am a business owner. I am a person who believes in just freedom. I'm for freedom of the people. I'm for that. But I wanted to just start this podcast, not because podcasts are so popular right now, because you can go Google me. I had a show called the Dionne Webster Show back in 2007. You remember that?
I do remember that.
See, I'm not new to the game. I'm true to the game. And finally, my niece told me a couple of years ago, whenever it was, she's like, you should do a podcast. And money wasn't quite right. Because it wasn't the time. Sometimes if the money's not right, it's just not the time. Because the time could be right, but the time's not right if the money's not there, right?
That's true.
I think so. So money just wasn't right. And then as a result, I know I have a publicist, and she told me about a podcast, I think earlier this year. And when she mentioned that, it kind of sparked something in me. Then as a result, I went back to my niece and I said, okay, why don't we do it? Let's do it. So I think the name is a working title, but I really like DTWD. That's where we're going to sort of stick with that. And now, that's who I am. What's the reason for the podcast? Just like my show, we're going to talk about relationship with yourself, because that's very important, a relationship with others, relationship with your finances, relationships, because it's all relational. Would you agree?
I agree.
All right. I think you should just expect to hear me talk. I'm going to introduce you. You are my sister.
Yes.
Dr. Wendy Webster-Jackson. Dr. Wendy Jackson. Do you have any other aliases? Dr. Renakas.
Yes.
Okay. Now, my sister is absolutely phenomenal. There are four of us, right? And of the four of us, I always say Wendy's the smartest, then Lil Don, and honestly, Latoya's pretty smart too. And I kind of consider myself last in the group. And that's coming from me being an attorney. And I can go and explain why I think all of that. But that's how I've always recognized and appreciated and respected your intelligence. I realized I probably wasn't that nice to you when I was younger, but what bigger sister was? He is nice to the younger sister.
She was not, but I've moved forward.
Yes, that's what we do. We just move forward. So as a result, but here it is. I don't think you're ever on my television show, but you're here today. So yes. My sister is a doctor. She's a doctor of podiatry. She's been practicing over 20 years. I remember she was practicing podiatry, and I hadn't even decided to go to law school, because I've only been practicing for 17 years. You've been over 20 years in the game.
Correct.
So then I remember Lil Don and I, that's my brother. We were all at Eastland Mall, or some mall, and he looked at us, or he looked at me. He's like, yeah, why don't you just, when you'll be the doctor, why don't you just go to law school? Mm-hmm. You remember that? Mm-hmm. I remember him saying that, and I was like, yeah. Even though our mother told me I was going to go to law school. Mm-hmm. So you are a doctor. You're my sister. You are a business owner. You are a wife. Yes. A mother. Mm-hmm. I'm a mother too. And you are also a caretaker, because you care for our father, our sister Latoya, her son.
Yes.
And your two children. You've got a 2-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Yes, and I have other children also.
That's right. I don't want to forget about them. You got Kalisha and Kalana.
Uh-huh.
You count the other ones too?
Brittany.
Brittany. Oh, you can't forget about Brittany's number one. I saw Brittany come out the chute. Come out the canal.
Thank you,
of course,
Brittany.
I remember that. All right. So now, here we are. You were my first guest. Now, why did I want you to be my first guest? I wanted you to be my first guest because you're going to, and Brittany, your firstborn, came up with the topics.
Okay.
All right.
I'm game. Let's see what happens here.
Yeah, she came up with it.
I have no idea what the questions are, so I'm just prepared. They said just be vulnerable and shoot off the cuff. So that's what I'm going to do.
Okay, so you're supposed to tell us how to maintain the perfect marriage. So pray tell, sister. But let me just say this. That's how I interpreted it. The main topic is how to maintain a healthy marriage.
Well, what I can say is my marriage is not perfect, but it is long and it is wonderful because I have a wonderful husband.
Okay.
We've been together since we met back in March 2001. My best friend Vita introduced me to Damien. She was her husband's best friend. So she introduced him. We were together ever since. We did not get married right away. We dated for 7 years, and we had a child, which we lost. Then I think we got engaged after 7 years, and then we moved in together for about 6 months, and then we went off and eloped in Vegas. But my brother was there, and his girlfriend at the time. And I think we eloped because Dionne went off and eloped with her daughter's father. And they had to show us how it was done, what you're supposed to do with getting married in Vegas. So we got there and we got married after them and on September the 7th, 2007.
Oh my gosh, I got married 777.
Yes. Her ex-husband, I'll never forget his words saying 777. He did say it like that.
Got that so high.
Well, it was 777. And that means it's gonna be miraculous because of those sevens. Well, moving forward, so to my marriage.
It was miraculous because Anaya is a miracle. Anaya is miraculous. So he was absolutely right. He didn't know what it was supposed to be, what the miracle was supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
But the miracle was Anaya.
Yes.
Okay. So for that, I thank him. I have no problem.
Okay. So then we were married in 2007, and we've had our challenges. He's had certain medical issues that need to be addressed, but they're being addressed now. So, you have to, and I'm going to say this, a marriage is like going on to a tropical island. So if you're on a tropical island, it's beautiful. It could be beautiful, wonderful, calm winds, but every now and then you get a hurricane, and a hurricane is life and issues, and a hurricane will come and sweep through. But as long as your foundation is God, I believe that when the hurricane comes, you'll get back up together.
Okay.
And go through. That's how I look at it.
Really? I found marriage to be indentured servitude. I found that I had to work and work and work and work and work and work. But I was going to stay with it. Mm-hmm. Honestly, I was going to stay with it. I would not have divorced him. He divorced me. But I would have stayed with it because our parents stayed married until mom died. But I would have stayed with it. But it was indentures. It was pure, like to quote my one client, it was pure OD hell for me. But that doesn't mean that I wouldn't do it again. Because I took Kevin Samuel's advice and I went ahead and I got a psychiatrist and I went to a personal trainer. So I had to get my mind right, right? And I had to work on working out. So I've been doing that. And guess what? I'm going to be a lot nicer this time. Next time I get married, I'm going to be a whole lot nicer. I'm going to be a totally different person. I promise. That's
probably a good idea to be nicer.
I'm going to be nicer.
Yes.
I'm going to be nicer.
That sounds good.
I swear on God, I'm going to be nicer.
Okay, be nicer.
Yes.
So, but that's all I can say is basically just have God as your foundation. Because to me, a marriage is a covenant under God. And as long as both people understand that, they won't allow external forces to come in to disrupt the marriage. And that's how I look at it. So, but it's still working. It's only been 17 years and we've been together over 20 years. So, and I still love him because he's so cute.
No, I don't think anybody in our family really pushed marriage. In fact, they said I know Ma would say just be able to take care of yourself, be able to support yourself, be able to support yourself. So they weren't really pushing marriage, but I know I wanted to get married. I always saw myself getting married. I always saw myself getting married in Vegas, so I knew that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why when I met her dad, I said, okay, and we got married very quickly. It was not a 7-year engagement or a 7-year run. It was within, I think we were married within 4 months.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll tell you something, not that history is going to repeat itself, because history will not repeat itself. Started my show, the Dionne Webster Show. It had to be January 31st, 2007.
Mm-hmm.
And I was married. I met him, went on the first date with him maybe in March of 2007. And we were married July 7th, 2007.
Mm-hmm.
So I would honestly say, for me, I won't do that again. So if this is any indication of how things are supposed to go, and it's doing this podcast, I will not be marrying anybody in 4 months from today.
That's a good idea.
That's a very good idea.
Mm-hmm.
That's a very good. I have to at least know you for 4 seasons. I need to see how you act in summer. I need to see how you act in fall, winter, spring. I need to see you in 4 seasons.
Mm-hmm. And that's important.
I think we were in Mackinac Island, and when we were in Mackinac Island, we were at a little gift shop, and I got something that said a perfect marriage is 2 imperfect people who refuse to give up on each other.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's very true, right? Mm-hmm. That's what a marriage is, just 2 imperfect people. And that's fine and dandy. But there's one thing I did not say about you that you have aspirations of being. You're following in the steps of Uncle Jimmy.
Uncle Jimmy, yes.
And Uncle Jimmy was a community activist.
Mm-hmm.
And for that being the case, I think we're all following in the steps of Uncle Jimmy, because part of my practice is civil rights. It's just standing up for those. I think we all I do it as a living, standing up, and you're doing it. You are going through your civic duty by being a political candidate in several different races, and
yes,
that's what you like to do. So not only are you a mother, a business owner, a doctor, you are also a political candidate.
Yes, I am. I've actually done 3 races. Started first at 2020, I ran for clerk in Southfield. So I was approached by Vance Patrick. He's actually now the head of the Oakland County Republican Party. So he
okay, well, let's stop there.
Uh-huh.
So when you said the Oakland County, you were approached by him, does that mean your affiliation is with?
I'm a Republican.
Okay. I'm not. I am independent. But go ahead.
Yes.
But I'm not voting for Biden. So take it for what it is. Right?
But I would say I'm more of a conservative.
I'm conservative. That's
or more over the top of even identifying as Republican. I'm more of a conservative.
I am too.
But to have my affiliation with the party, I picked Republican Party. So that's just what it is. First race, clerk. The clerk in there was Sharika Hawkins. That was a very interesting race. That was my first foray into politics. So
because she was she up on charges there?
She was on charges. So that's why they came. They said, "Oh my God, the sitting clerk has felony election charges. So you should run." And I said, "You know what? How is she still in office and she has these charges?" I said, "To me, if you were a school teacher and someone accused you of molesting students, you don't get to stay in that job. You are sent out until it's all resolved." I said, "That's not right." So I said, "I'm going to throw my hat into the race." So I did. I found out I'm pregnant.
Oh, right.
So I have to run this whole race pregnant. I never mentioned it to anyone, any of the other Republican people or anyone. So I'm just going along, and they're just looking at me as I'm getting bigger and bigger. They think I'm just eating a lot. So they just looking at me like...
Just stress eating.
Yes. They're like, "Oh, my gosh. She's getting so big."
But you don't know that because nobody's sitting. That's your ego thinking that's what they thought.
What? Right. So maybe they...
Because women would know that you were pregnant.
Women, yes, they probably would. But I kept on going, went to all my races. And even though I acquired some political enemies back then, it was just funny. So I had it, and I could not go. My due date was November 3rd. So I said, "Oh, wow, I may not make it to the polls." And I did not make it to the polls. My son came October 31st. So I had my little Halloween baby. And I asked, and I had a C-section. And I told my doctors, I said, "But I have to get out of here to get to the polls. How am I going to, I'm a candidate."
Did you even get to vote for yourself?
I had done it earlier.
Okay, so, because you wanted to vote. you wanted to go out to the polls so you could continue
talk to people, yes, and keep canvassing the neighborhoods. So they said, absolutely not. If you try to leave here, we will tie you to the bed. I said, okay, fine. So I had my surrogates, which I met some very good friends, and they were out there passing out cards and literature. So that was my first race in 2020. And so I said, they came up. It was a state rep race, the next race, 2022. And my opponent was Jason Hoskins. So he was on the city council. He was beloved because he was so sweet and nice. So they said, okay, you get to be state rep. And I said, oh, he doesn't get to go and just become state rep without competition. I'm going to go against him. So,
but the thing about Jason Hoskins, and I don't think I've ever met the man, so I don't even know him. But he was kind of running on the platform that he was gay, right?
That was his big platform. I will be the first openly gay black legislator.
So, that's all you got.
That's all he had, literally.
And gay, he was a man.
He was a man.
And gay, talking about your sexual preference.
Yes.
Well, we all like men. I hear you, but
and I said, hey, what's the difference? I like men too.
Right.
So
I love men too.
Right. So that was there, and it continued on. I ran that race. I did not win, but I did better than the first Republican that ran the race for state rep in this area. Got 500 votes. I got close to 10,000 votes.
Good.
So I turned some seats.
Like some people say, right on.
Right on, right.
But now you're in another race.
I'm in another race. I'm in the 18th District, Oakland County Commissioner's race.
Okay.
Yes.
So you're doing that, and now you're running, and you'll find out in November.
In November. I did not get primary, so I go straight through.
All right. So now that's fine. So now but the nice thing about it is that you've learned from the past experiences, right?
Yes.
And now you are doing things differently?
Yes.
And that's what I think what counts.
Yes. I've moved forward. So now if my husband's uncle and his wife have defamatory signs against me, I'll just laugh and keep walking.
I think that's a good thing.
Yes.
Because we had a situation where you were charged.
I was charged.
You were charged with assault and battery. No,
disorderly conduct,
and
disturbing the peace, and
assault and battery.
Yes.
I should know because I represented her.
She represented me, yes.
I did represent you, and we won.
Yes.
Not guilty.
Not guilty. All charges.
Dionne Webster-Jackson.
She did that, and I was politically railroaded. I did not do anything that they claimed, but I did have an argument with him. But he wanted to go and lie and say I jumped on his back, I beat him up, even though it was witnesses, it was cameras. But the funny thing is, that came out of this whole thing is that they now insist on having cameras throughout the schools in Southfield. So that's a good thing.
That's a very good thing.
So, I've been working on things, and you never know how God is going to take a situation and change it for better. But however, they are still, my political adversaries, but it just let me know I must be making it pretty good in politics to have my own protesters that come to protest me. I'm honored everyone has that. And it's always a family member that does it. So thank you very much.
So now, how has that affected your family life running for these different elections?
Well, campaigning, running for office is a job in itself. So it's late nights, it's last minute meetings, it's running here, running there, always engaging with the people. So how it affected my family life is that I think it made us closer in a lot of ways because we did it as a family. So my husband, the kids, I got them little t-shirts they would wear. They would go canvassing for me and with me. My husband's been my biggest supporter.
But you all work together on it.
Yes, you have to work together.
Well, I know he's very proud of you. Mm-hmm. I know, at times, but when it came down to it, he was proud of you. He stood up for you. He didn't like what his uncle did whatsoever. He didn't like that whatsoever, and he was highly invested in the trial as far as what happened. And so were the children. They were witnesses, and I was so proud of my nephew Quinn who testified, and I was proud of my niece who testified. And what did they say? She just told us to tell the truth. That's what she told us to do, tell the truth. Because that prosecutor, and I don't remember her name.
Lydia.
Okay. It's not important. They can always look it up and find out if they wanted to.
I'll tell you.
Okay. But because that's still sister counsel.
Yes.
Okay.
That's your sister council. She is not mine. She is someone that when I am elected, we will just see. We're going to have to just make some changes.
She has a job. What you going? Oh, it doesn't matter what changes you gonna make because she got a job. She works for the main prosecutor out there, whoever that Karen McDonald. I don't know who. Karen McDonald. Okay, even though I'm mainly Wayne County because that's where I live, Wayne County, and I just have an office here in Oakland County. But I am part of the Oakland County Bar Association, so that's important. Well, it's important. But I say all that to say that I was very happy to see what we told the children, and was to tell the truth. Just tell the truth. And that's what I tell all my clients. Just tell the truth. Just tell the truth. Just tell the truth. Tell me the truth first so I can know how to handle it. Tell the truth and we can go forward. And yes, that prosecutor did try to everything in her power to get those kids to say that we asked them to lie. And that just wasn't the case because that's not even who I am. And that's not even who you are. Because at the end of the day, what I always say is, I told my daughter this when she was very young. I said, let me tell you something. Go tell. You can go tell anybody everything what I'm doing. I said, because honestly, I think I'm right. But somebody else may hear and be like, what the hell? That's some psycho bullshit she doing. And I just wouldn't know. So I want you to tell. Go tell because to me, I'm not doing anything that is secret. My life is not a secret. So you go tell if it's something that hurts you, that does this, that does that. Now, yes, have I yelled at her? Absolutely. Absolutely. And if you need to go tell it, go tell it. And let that person come to me and we'll talk about how I yelled at my daughter and we'll talk about what she did and how it wasn't. I didn't go upside her damn head with it, right? You just got to allow her voice.
Yes.
And that's what happens sometimes, right?
You have to.
Well,
you have to do that with these children. So,
she didn't get an extension cord. I can tell you that.
Yeah, my dad used to whip me with the extension cord.
Me too.
But I think it was for the best. I turned out okay. So I have a good, strong sense of what's right and wrong. That's how I look at it.
I did not like those extension cords.
I didn't say I liked it. I said it made me a good person. Because this is the only reason why I don't spank my daughter. I don't spank her. I mean, I might have taken her little hand like, no. But I've never like taken a belt and like beating on her or anything like that. I've never done that because I never wanted her to think that's what love was. So I never did it, right? When she goes to get married or, meets whatever she does, when she gets into a relationship, I don't want her getting her ass beat thinking, oh, that person really loves me to do it. So as a result, I'm not, that's why I never did that. That's why I never freaking did that shit. Because I did not like the damn extension cords because I would welt up and I remember having to go to school because they had child protective services, but I think when we were kids, you'd almost have to be half dead for them to be called in. Yeah, they did.
Okay, you know what I'm saying? Because, I know I went to school with welts on my legs in gym and I remember classmates saying, well, you got a whooping, huh? Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
What'd you do? Let a boy in the house, which was
good.
That was
right.
Deserved I never
punishment.
did that. Right. Extension cord, really?
That's what he was used to. That's what was the way he was disciplined. I don't use that with my children, but I will whip them. Yes, I will. Yes, if they need it, yes, they will. Very rarely they need it though, but they will get it. I'm not against that. I like disciplining children.
I discipline her, but my discipline is more. Well, I probably will curse a little, start a little self out. I will do that.
Right.
I guess my discipline is more mental, more emotional.
Well, that could be, but I just want to teach the children. Life is not fair, and certain behaviors will give you certain consequences. Absolutely. And the parents are the first ones that have to teach consequences. And in the home, I think so, because a lot of these parents want to be their child's friend. I don't believe it. I tell my kids, you're not my friend. Now, once you're grown, you're in your own career, you don't have to ask me for money, then we could be friends. But Brittany and I are friends. So we're going to have a spa date when I get to Atlanta. The rest of the kids, we're not friends.
When I get to Atlanta, I want to see Brittany. But we're not going to have a spa day because she's going to be working for me.
Well, that's fine. But I'm
going to have a spa day.
Very good.
I'm going.
Yes, very good. So that'll be very relaxing for you.
See, I don't know what my daughter's going to do. I don't know. My time hasn't come yet. I just count every year. I'm like, okay, we got through 14. We got through 15. Now we're in 16. Let's see how that's going to go. All I know is what I would do with her was, and this all goes to, because you're raising children with, not Brittany. Brittany was an exception. She's your first child. But you're raising children in a 2-parent home, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm co-parenting
Mm-hmm.
with Anaya's, with my ex-husband, because I was married, and her dad, right? I am co-parenting with him. So what it is that for me, I probably do things a lot differently. I'm probably a little, remember when she had the first little boyfriend, and she wanted me to hear the conversation because she had it on a speaker. But what happened was, she had it on a speaker, and I had this deep old voice. Deep ass voice. What the hell's in my house? Like this deep voice. I mean, talking like a big man in my house. I was like, this is a girl house. We don't have men here. And I had a chance to talk to myself. Well, where are you invested, sir? Do you have a passport? Where have you traveled to, sir?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me, what do you have? What stocks do you have, sir?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have crypto, sir? Because that's only a penny, less than a penny, a coin. What do you have, sir? Oh, nothing. Crickets, nothing. Yeah, I said, you know what? Stay in your own lane. Because she was just in 8th grade. I said, what's wrong with you that you can't get somebody in high school? Something's wrong with you.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you damn molester.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I said.
Well, if your boy is in high school, he does not need to date middle school
He
girls.
does not. Why are you in that pool?
Yes.
Why are you in that pool?
Mm-hmm.
Something's wrong with you.
Mm-hmm. Go with your
Go with
ilk.
Right.
Your ilk are the high school girls. So
That's it.
Couldn't get a high school girl. He was too weak.
Right. So then he's trying to get in this pool, and these girls just happy to get some damn attention.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I tell her, I was like, wait a minute, no, something's wrong here. So hopefully the lessons that I've taught her, and then also I would have her look at Fatal Attraction and come on. And Fatal Attraction, you get to see the relationships when they get involved at 14 and 15, and the girl gets pregnant, and then the guy nobody can afford the baby, then the guy ends up killing her. And I said, see what happens? You see what happens? So that's one of my deterrents for premarital sex, is showing what can happen, and how you better be able to take care of your baby, which is another thing my mother told me, be able to take care of your child. So I don't think anything's wrong with that.
Nothing's wrong with that. Mother always said, pay your rent and your babysitter. I just always remember that.
That's right.
You gotta have your babysitter. You gotta have a place to live.
You gotta have
everything else can be hooked and cooked until you make it.
I know that I relate that, or consider that. You can say pay your babysitter, pay those people who help you, who work for you, who are doing services for you. And I agree with that. Pay your people. So wait a minute, we even talked about marriage, the perfect marriage, which ain't so perfect, right? Ain't so perfect.
It's not a perfect marriage.
We talked about children. We've spoken about my situation, and we've talked about your candidacy and your attempts, which were just a constant build up to the next round. And that's what I'm about. You don't stop at the first time. You don't stop unless it's something you really didn't want to do.
Correct.
Then I think you stop. Okay?
Correct. But because I liked it. And I kept on. Even though I've gotten beat up, I've been, I laugh because I saw a movie on my Korean shows. I love Korean shows. That's one of my favorite things I watch. And their political dramas are so much different than our political dramas. And the one politician said, unless you've been beat up, you're really not doing this politics right. I said, you know what? I've been beat up. I've been arrested, denigrated. But I don't give up. I got back up. I'm back in the race. And now I have more support.
They had to see it.
They had to see, was I tenacious? And that's the type of person that I am. But I'm not a true politician. Like, I don't know who to talk to, where to talk to. I just know I need to talk to people to get my point out. But I am a task-oriented person. So when I'm elected and they say, hey, we have a project that we need money, then hey, I'm going to go out there and get that money from the state, because the state is over the county. And I'll make sure we have certain funds to get you what you need. I'm going to try my best. So I understand what needs to be done. And that's how I take this task. What is the task? And I'm going to go get it done.
All right. So we've talked about a relationship with others. your husband, your children. We've talked about our relationship with political candidates, the community. We've talked about relationship with your sister, mother, father. We've talked about all of that this first time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a pretty good show.
Yes.
I think we got a lot of information out, and I kept my cool. You didn't say anything that pissed me off, so thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes.
This was a lovely experience.
Wasn't it a good experience?
Yes, it
I
was.
think so too. But
Thank
I'm saying you did not say anything. You were honest about everything. You know what I'm saying? Not you know what I'm saying. Maybe you don't. I'm saying thank you.
Well, before we go, can I say one thing? I just want to give kudos out
To me.
well, to you, but
Yes.
also to the math pentathlon team from Gill Elementary. I was their coach for 2 years, and I'm saying this because I was the only one out of all the groups in the Gill for math pentathlon to get their kids to the tournament. So I want to shout out to all the hard work, the kids that were math pentathlon, but I would definitely say Daly Jackson. She was there, and I'm proud of them, and I will shout them out at the next county commissioner meeting, even if I don't say the names of the kids.
Yeah.
But I'm proud of them. They worked hard, and we made it. So
Well, I do stuff for the kids too. I had a food truck for the kids. I did a pizza party for the kids. We do stuff for the kids. So
they're
that's
important.
wonderful.
The children are our future, and
Children
I
are
believe
our
they
future.
need to be educated and guided morally. That's where I'm going to stand. That's my hill to die on, to take care of the kids. So that's all I wanted to say for my part. And thank you so much for having me.
Oh, you're very welcome. You did good, Wendy.
Thank you.
You did good. All right, that's good.